Hello again, Indah Melindasari from ONEderland Consulting. I have over 10 years experience as a migration agent and was once a migrant myself. Please click subscribe to get all the best Australian immigration content and updates. Firstly, I want to say COVID rates are on the rise with the introduction of the Delta variant into Australia. And this has made what was already a difficult situation into even more difficult one. I just want to say on behalf of myself and the entire ONEderland Consulting team, we hope everyone is staying safe and healthy and that we in Australia and around the world will get through this if we work together. Now let's get started with the latest immigration news for July 2021. Part 1. Updates on borders and travel restrictions. 4 pace planned for reopening announced. International arrival cap decreased. Part 2. Changes to business and work visas. 22 new occupations added to PMSOL. Updated business and skilled migration program in New South Wales for 2021-22. Updated skilled migration program in Western Australia for 2021-22 program year. Part 3. Regulation changes. Citizenship and visa application fee increases. Let's start with Part 1. Update on borders and travel restrictions. The travel and border restrictions have been a source of a lot of unhappiness and disappointment for a lot of you there. It has hindered potential applicants from being able to enter, those on temporary visas unable to return, and even causing citizens and permanent residences unable to return to or leave the country. The government has been dragging their feet to setting an exact date or time frame to reopen the borders, as some are speculating the reasons are political, as there is an election coming up next year and immigration is a hot button political issue in Australia. But while we can only speculate on reasons, it has affected us all greatly. Well, no exact date has been set. The government has attempted to somewhat calm the growing frustration by announcing a 4-pace plan for getting back to normal and reopening the borders. Phase 1 will be to vaccinate, prepare, and pilot. This phase, which is already in action, will be to vaccinate all Australians as quickly as possible, decrease international arrival caps by 50% at major airports, and to trial new types of quarantine facilities to ease the pressure on existing programs. Phase 2 will be the post-vaccination. A certain threshold of Australians being vaccinated will be set, and after this, then the pace will include inbound passenger caps being restored to their previous levels of unvaccinated returning travelers, with even larger caps for those who are vaccinated. Australia will also allow a cap entry of student and economic visa holders, subject to quarantine arrangements and availability. Phase 3 will be a consolidation. In this phase, vaccinated residents will be exempted from all domestic restrictions and caps will be abolished on returning vaccinated travelers. Further cap increases for student economic and humanitarian visa holders will also be put in place. All restriction on outbound travel for vaccinated persons will be removed and the travel bubble extended to new countries such as Singapore, Pacific nations, and potentially others. Finally, phase 4 will be back to normal. This means vaccinated people will be allowed to enter Australia without quarantining, while the caps will also be removing from unvaccinated arrivals. The latter will be tested for COVID-19 pre-flight and on arrival. As we can see, as we are still in phase 1, This explains our second piece of news that the cap on international arrivals has decreased. The cap reduces weekly state and territory intake from the previous cap of 6,370 with an extra 300 spots for vulnerable people to return to Brisbane to 3,035. The cap is broken down by weekly rates as follows: Sydney 1,505, Perth 265, Adelaide 265, Melbourne 500, and Brisbane 500 plus 150 search capacity. Alright, let's move to part 2, changes to business and work visas. Moving on now to changes for business and work visas. What should be some welcoming news for many of you out there is that 22 new occupations have been added to the PMSOL. This will give a greater opportunity for those of you out attempting to apply for a work visa in Australia. The addition of 22 occupations bring the PMSOL to 41 occupations in total. The 22 new occupations, including their unskilled code, are displayed on your screen now. The priority will be given to employer-sponsored visa application with an occupation on the PMSOL. This will apply to existing and future applications. Other streamlined processes in terms of the applicants, the top priority will be given to those who are currently onshore, as the borders are likely to remain closed until at least early 2022. On the changes to the Business Innovation and Investment Program, or BIIP, on 1st of July 2021, changes were announced for the Business Innovation and Investment Program. As part of the changes for Business Innovation Visa, the requirement which allows successful applicants to run an existing or a new business in Australia will be increased after the announcement. Business Innovation Visa holders will be required to hold business assets of $1.25 million, up from $800,000, and should have an annual turnover of $750,000, up from $500,000. In addition to the changes, the Premium Investor, Significant History, and Venture Capital Entrepreneur visas will be closed to new applications from the 1st of July 2021. However, applications that have already been lodged for these visas will continue to be processed. The changes to the Business Innovation and Investment Program also will allow provisional visas to be valid for 5 years, which will give applicants extra time to meet the residency requirement, which requires 3 years. There have been updates as well for Western Australia's Skilled Migration Program, which split into 2 different levels based on priority, with Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. New occupations have been added to the WA's MOL Schedule 1 and the requirements for both Schedule 1 and 2. We have provided a link in the description to the full Western Australia's migration occupation list and updated requirements. They have also updated the requirements for the graduate stream and across the board updated the English requirements for the WA Skilled Migration Program. All of these changes can be viewed in the link provided. Part 3. Regulation changes. In our last of today's news, there has been an increase for citizenship and visa application fees. Starting the 1st of July 2021, anyone applying for Australian visa and Australian citizenship will have to contend with paying a higher fee. The changes on the visa application fees are applicable to almost all visa applications submitted on the 1st of July or after 1st of July 2021. Additionally, the immigration minister also stated that inflation, living costs, and the increasing complexity of applications all contributed to the price hike. Although all application fees have been increased, there was no set rate for each individual applications, and the price increase varied from visa to visa. We have provided a link in the description to view the full list of application fee increases. Well, that's the roundup of all the changes and updates for August 2021. If you have any questions about how these changes may affect you or benefit you, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, leave a comment or questions, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. You can find our contact details in the description and the comments. So feel free to send an email or call with inquiry, and our advisors will be there for all your visa needs. ONEderland Consulting is here to help you. As always, thank you for watching.